guillotine legal. It states the following. All executions performed at the behest of the judiciary or ruling authority, whether permanent or temporary, as asphyxiation by gas, beheading, decapitation, asphyxiation by gas, beheading by decapitation by guillotine, capital punishment, electrocution, hanging, poisoning, shooting, other specified means. Jesus.
Bringing back hanging as well?
Yeah, I even saw like injuries from accident, not specified how. So essentially like beating the hell out of somebody.
I would want, out of all those, give me a guillotine. Guillotine. If it's sharp enough, give me a guillotine.
That is the most humane one. But also it's probably the most terrifying as you wait in line. As people in front of you go in there to have, I don't want to ruin it all, but get scanned, and then, floop, head pops off, they throw the body off, then you hear, next! And slowly, the hundreds in front of you just fall in line. Tell me, why would we put this into new policy unless we plan to use it as a way of execution? What, are we going back to medieval times?
Sounds like it.
For real, what if all those videos coming out with people being beheaded by ISIS was our first dose of desensitization to the thought of doing this?
Ooh.
I mean,
it's going deep.
That's the only way I go.
I mean, back in the medieval times, people went to go watch it as a pastime, just as Romans used to watch gladiators fight. So it is possible that they think we can go back to that. I mean, how many of you would watch those near-death videos and the next thing you know, you are sliding over to videos of people actually dying? So would it be hard to transition the people to start watching things like that in real life? I mean, it happens from time to time. You're on YouTube or something, and then all of a sudden you're on the, like, I'm going to call it the light side of YouTube. Then all of a sudden you go to the fucking dark side of YouTube, and then live leaks or something like that, and then you're just, what am I watching?
Yeah, it's true. And yet we sit there and we're drawn to it. And I think that they believe they can utilize that transition into real life. So I'm going to link this article that breaks down all of the code and the background. We just don't have enough time to go that deep with as much as we have to cover in this subject. So it's a live leak article.
So with Obamacare, everyone is issued a medical code, and that code would be an international code. He didn't create the coding system, though he wanted to make it a global code system. They share our information with others through this coding. This will be used to identify people and could be what they use in the guillotines. What if they use our face scanning information from our iPhones to program the machines? So we just walk up and bloop, dead. Bloop, next one. Yep, you go to the guillotine. Nope, you go over here. Re-education. Nope, guillotine. Nope, re-education.
With these guillotines, they have these retina scanners, and they do confirm if the person is supposed to be in the guillotine or not. So you couldn't just throw in one of the enemies, like our enemy. It would scan their eye or whatever, and it would see, oh, that's not the person that's supposed to be in there, and it would set them free. So that's like a backup system to be like, we know you're on the red list, so you're supposed to go to the guillotine, but maybe you get there, they scan you, and you are a lucky fucking soul, and that thing pops open and you don't get killed that day. But let me tell you, there isn't just one of these things. FEMA has already ordered 30,000 smart guillotines that can use this retina scanner information. It has restraints that come up and out of it if you fight it. So I ask you, why do we need any amount of guillotines on American soil unless they had plans to use them on something? I just had deja vu. I didn't like the feeling I had reading that.
Well, let's hope that doesn't come true. I mean, I know I said I would get my head chopped off if I had a choice, but I don't want to get my head chopped off. I like my head on where it's perfectly at.
Yes,
me
I
too.
just want to live life. Let us live.
Scary.
It is very scary.
Yeah. So Dan, what do you know about these RFID chips that are written down here?
All right, these RFID chips, man. Earlier when I mentioned the Revelations verse and it stated, I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for the testimony of Jesus and for the word of God, and those who had not worshipped the beast or its image had not received its mark on their foreheads or their hands. Well, the thought is that if you choose not to get the chip or the mark of God in their hand, that meant they would not conform to the New World Order and would be executed.
Yeah. And I saw that these RFID chips would be inserted into people who go to the FEMA camps. And it would go like between your forefinger, your pointer finger and your thumb.
But what if you don't have a hand?
Then you get it in your forehead.
What if you don't got a forehead?
Well, then you're not alive.
All right, Anna, you said between the index finger and the thumb, right? So right in here?
It goes in this, like right here.
Dude, remember when I talked about the fucking little kneecap bone in your hand?
Yeah? That little floating thing
Oh
that
my
they don't
God.
talk about?
Yeah, that they don't tell you until like you see it in the x-rays. Like I had that little bone right there I saw.
Uh-oh.
What if that's not actually a fucking bone?
It was a pretty circle, like a pretty perfect circle.
Or like maybe that is the bone, but then later on they take that out and they boop.
Shit. Uh-oh.
Damn, that's
Dude, it is, because, I mean, like, there's some jobs that have talked about implementing this and getting rid of key cards. So they'd give their employees this chip in their hand so they can go up to the door and scan their hand to the door. Or go and pay for their lunch with their chip in their hand. And then, of course, it's like, oh, well, what if you quit your job? What about this chip in your hand now? Well, supposedly, it's only the size of a grain of rice. It's longer than a grain of rice, them bitches lying. And they're just like, it's easy to take out. So, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to cut the skin open to do it, but no thanks. But earlier we mentioned how the homeless would be the first phase of getting people into FEMA camps, because they would be the ones easiest to lure in. They're being promised many things, meals. They'll never have to wait for anything with these RFID chips in them. Food stamps would go directly to their account with having these. You wouldn't have to wait for lines at the doctor's office. It was like really creepy shit. I actually found a super interesting video of this guy talking about, well, he believed in 2020 we'd be at this point now, and at the rate of this country going right now, I honestly could see how this might happen by the end of the year. But there will come a time where you cannot live in this world unless you're chipped. You would have to have it for everything you did. They would make you obsolete as a person without being transhuman. They also will promise these RFID chips to be able to like cure cancer or live indefinitely, because you would be able to manipulate things in your body if you ultimately get like a neuro chip in your brain. But you got to remember that they have power to change that controlling mechanism to do bad things as well. Just saying. To keep us under control, maybe, I think one of you guys were mentioning, like, if you start to have a thought, like a creative thought, they zap you so you don't think outside the box.
Yeah. But yeah, we have that. Anna has that video. We'll link that up for you guys to watch that and take a look at it. So I guess we're going to roll into the Jade Helm 15 and kind of discuss that. So the Jade Helm 15 was a United States military training exercise which took place in multiple United States like Texas, Arizona, Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, New Mexico, and Utah. And this was between July 15th and September 15th of 2015. It's a lot of 15s. So the exercise involved...
666. 1 + 5, 1 + 5, 1 + 5. 666. What the fuck?
Okay.
It is the New World Order.
The exercise, which involved 1,200